Thank you very much. Well, I promised if I could cool you down, I'd probably have even greater attendance here right now. But I'm feeling a little bit jealous, actually. I just saw some of a glass of champagne out there. Thank you very much to everybody for joining our session here this afternoon. Thank you so much. Well, hello to everyone here at MadFest. My name's Mark Wheeler, as you just heard. I'm CMO at Storyblok. And today, I want to talk about one of the most powerful things I believe we can do today to drive brand and demand. Now, I'm sure that as you've been around the MadFest talks throughout today, you've probably heard one dominating topic that would probably try and achieve that for you, which was AI. But I'd like to argue that maybe there's something else that we can do. Maybe there's something else that we can add to that list, and it might surprise you. And I'd like to talk about marketer happiness. Now, it sounds maybe very quaint, maybe, but in the world of bottlenecks, broken processes, happiness could be one of the most underrated growth opportunities ahead of us. So over the next 15 minutes, let's chat about how happiness, through 5 real stories and one big idea, can show you how content can be a source of real joy, speed, and market connection. Now, before we jump into that, I would like to ask all of you here to raise your hands, please, if over the past 6 months, you have had to raise a ticket to get a piece of content put up on your website. Anyone had to go raise a ticket to get something simple done on their website? Come on, put your hands up. I know it's probably more prominent than the hands going up here in the room. Well, it's with that backdrop that it's no wonder if you had read perhaps a survey recently by a company called the Marketing Meetup. They say that over 50% of marketers today, they're not so happy right now. They're not so happy. We're under pressure. Tighter teams, faster expectations, more channels. But I believe that marketing and content teams are ready to figure this out. We just need the right kinds of tools. So I talked about 5 marketing stories that I'd like to share with you. So let's jump right in. Here's the first one. Now let's go back a second to that topic I raised right at the beginning, which is that 5-minute change, and why does it take 5 days to happen? Well, let's be honest, as I wish we had seen a little bit more of, I think this happens to almost all of us. Perhaps you notice a broken button, a headline on your website that you want to change, or a CTA, that perhaps needs optimization. And when you want to do that, suddenly I think your body is filled with dread as you're forced to raise a ticket. And it often comes about because what you think should take just a few minutes can often result in a week-long wait, passing through, depending on the systems that you're using, 2 Jira boards, a dev queue, a QA environment, and it goes on and on. And this is what we call the dependency spiral. Now, on the outside, to all of us looking at it, we think, oh, that's great collaboration. But whereas in actual fact, what it really is a slow bleed of momentum and really morale of our teams. And it hurts on both sides, both on the marketer side as well as the developer side. What marketers are wanting is speed and ownership. And what devs are looking for is they want the ability to maximize their expertise rather than being dragged into managing all these day-to-day tickets. So we've got to break this cycle. And it starts with tools that allow content autonomy, empowering all of you here to make real-time changes without needing to know technical tackle code. So the takeaway from this story is, let's give ourselves the opportunity to own their part. Marketers can do their own website updates, and devs can focus on components that require code. So here's story number 2. Now, it turns out that 49% of marketers take over an hour to publish content. And sometimes it can take even longer. And whilst that might sound like just an interesting stat, the real impact is this. You know, when you start to compound this over weeks and months, it equates to missed campaign launches, outdated landing pages, sales teams chasing you down for, the latest campaign, and SEO opportunities that we lose to our competitors. And here's the killer. No customer ever sees a draft web page. To your audience, slow equals silent. But the issue is, it's not just about publishing at faster speed. What we really need to scale, to be able to do this more effectively, is we need structured content, modular blocks, and real-time previews. And we essentially need systems that remove every unnecessary step that is between you and the idea going live. So speed is how you stay seen. Now here's story number 3, and it's the elephant in the room. It's perhaps the topic du jour. AI is everywhere. Now some marketers don't yet know what to do with it, and that's perfectly reasonable. And some worry that it might impact their jobs and their careers. But I would certainly argue that the goal of AI isn't to replace creativity. It's to remove creative blockers. And AI should really be making things go faster. Now, at Storyblok, our teams use AI for everything, from first draft generation, localization, SEO optimization, and appending alt texts to graphics, for example. And the point I'm making about this is it's assistive intelligence, it's assistive technology, and it's giving marketers the superpowers that they need that works within the workflows that they perform every single day. So as their headline here says, AI isn't coming for your job, but your job should be coming for AI. So here's story number 4, and it continues a little bit on that AI theme. But here's the big idea. Look, search has been around now for multiple decades, but buyers and consumers are increasingly starting with AI search, and unfortunately, perhaps not your website. In fact, we've seen a significant shift in where traffic is migrating to. Those prompt interfaces are taking traffic to structured, context-rich answers, and if your CMS isn't ready for that shift, your content's just going to get lost. Now, this is the fact that surprised me. 65% of consumers trust AI-generated summaries just as much, or potentially even more, than they do branded content. So if your homepage is still a wall of static copy and carousels, you're probably already behind. So the challenge is how we structure content. It's got to be, to make it work for this new world, it's got to be modular, it's got to be API ready, and it's got to be AI readable. If not, it's not about writing differently. You know, as you think about over the last 5 or 6 years, we've been writing content to be SEO friendly or SEO performant. It's not that. The content needs to be structured differently, which is exactly what modern content systems are there to support you with and are built for. So, search is no longer how people find you, it's how AI decides if they ever will. So story number 5. Imagine that you could nail it all with one technology change. Now, we actually conducted a scientific study of marketers recently, predominantly using legacy CMSs, and we asked them to compare it with Storyblok. And one of the things we did was we used facial pattern recognition technology to evaluate people's emotions. And what it showed is that teams using a modern headless platform are happier and they perform better. In fact, it was, as I watched some of the playbacks, it was amazing to watch people's faces light up as they saw things become so much easier. A joyful CMS is one that gives marketers a drag and drop experience and freedom. But it also helps developers to work side by side with marketers so that they can code with them and not against them. So to wrap up, great marketing teams don't just work harder, they work with systems that don't fight with them. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time, and I'd ask you to join us to see what joy looks like. Come and see at our booth, and we'd love to give you a brief demonstration. I promise you what I've been saying today is absolutely not a gimmick. And if that doesn't put a smile on your face, then the free ice cream hopefully certainly should. So thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.